Alright, so it's funny because someone was actually just emailing me about this yesterday. They wanted to see the photo from this day because I've talked about it on the whale watching boat a lot to passengers. It was 2011, so the first year that Jim and I were running Blue Ocean Whale Watch. And we came out of the harbor and we'd only gone maybe a couple miles, and we see killer whales up ahead. And we're getting closer, and we stop, and we're like 100, 150 yards away, and we see that the male in the group, so it was a male, a female, and her two offspring. It was the CA-138s and Fat Fin. And we noticed once we stopped that Fat Fin totally changed direction and came towards the boat. And we were sitting there. It was a beautiful day, by the way. It was June, there was hardly any wind, and it was just glassy and sunny. There's very few June days where it's nice and sunny like that. But Fat Fin came right next to us, stopped about 5 feet off our port side, and we looked down, and he was carrying a carcass between his pectoral fins. And it must have been an elephant seal. We couldn't really tell because they'd already skinned it. But huge carcass. I didn't even know that they could hold something between their pectoral fins. And so I'm shouting on the PA to everybody. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's coming over. He's showing us this carcass. This is unbelievable. And we saw him release his pectoral fins, and the carcass started to sink a little bit, and he went after it. And this other whale watching boat was coming over to watch the killer whales too. We noticed that once that whale watching boat was approaching, that Fat Fin turned and went right for them as well, and had been carrying the carcass all the way over to that boat to show them too. And I just couldn't believe that he just wanted to show off what he caught. Then the rest of the day, I mean, we were just sat in one spot, and this pod of killer whales were circling around the boat and harassing northern fulmars, which was sad for the birds, but it was pretty amazing that they were kind of playing target practice with these birds all around the boat, and the water was just so clear, and I mean, we could see probably 15 feet down, so we could see the whole silhouettes of the killer whales coming up next to the boat. It was just a very magical day. The next story, this was when I was working on sanctuaries. This must have been 2008, so I was brand new to whale watching, and so every experience I was just completely overly excited about, probably more excited than the passengers were. And we came out, and it was one of the first friendly humpbacks that I had seen. And sanctuary is really low to the water. I mean, you could just dip your toes in if you swung your leg around the side of the boat. But this humpback came right over to us, and it was rolling around, and it was just inches from the boat, looking up at people. And it went right underneath us, and I could see its tail on the side I was on, and then the captain's looking through the other door, and he can see the head on the other side. And I'm freaking out. I'm taking pictures of anything and shouting to passengers, telling them to look down at the fluke, and the captain grabs me by the arm, and he pulls me over, and he goes, just don't say anything to anybody, but the whale is lifting up the boat right now. And I was like, you shouldn't have told me. Like, I'm gonna freak out right now. And once he told me, you know, I could feel that the boat was moving, and it wasn't just a wave or anything, that the whale was actually supporting the boat on its back. And who knows if it was scratching its back or whatever, just messing with us, I don't know. But it lasted a few moments, and then the whale came out and started rolling around again in front of the passengers. It's pretty cool.